All right, so that's set up. Hopefully the chat is working fine. Just gotta wait to see if that chat comes in so nothing else is messed up and I don't have to restart this joint. Salute to everybody who tunes in, man. Truly appreciate y'all. I'm just taking care of some last minute stuff. Let me go into this thing. Oh, that's right. Okay, give me one. Come on, come on. There we go. All right. Let me save this and share this. What up, Blake? What up, Trash? What up, Subu? What's good? Copy. Let me share that on X, matter of fact. Live stream. I'll get to the chat in just 1 second. Post and just let me let Discord know that we are live. Live. Okay, now I'm good to go. Let's get to the chat. Let's talk about it. We got this. There's some interesting stuff, man. Salute to the homie. First of all, I gotta give credit where credit is due. I did see this video a while back. I think the dude's name is Big Boy IQ. So first off, we have to give a shout out to Big Boy IQ for sharing this with me. I saw one of these videos a while back, and it was supposed to be part of a series. I didn't keep up with the series, so I didn't even know that some more videos were made. So salute to Big Boy IQ for sharing this with me on Twitter. And if you guys have any topics that you would like me to discuss or you would like me to review, I definitely recommend adding me on X. You could type in !Twitter and follow me on Twitter, and then you could add me, and I definitely, considering that it resonates with the current times, I will definitely talk about these topics, especially when they're right up the alley of what I feel is going on in gaming. We got some interesting stuff to talk about. I think a lot of you guys are probably going to be mind blown during this live stream because this is not coming from a gamer. This is not, these thoughts are not coming from a player. Although he does admit that he just enjoys gaming, very similar to how I feel, and I have no, I'm really not trying to compare myself to this guy because he's in a league of his own. He was voted as one of the best gaming creators of all time by IGN. We're talking about Timothy Kane. He was the lead developer for the game Fallout, and he also worked on Outer Worlds. The fact that this is coming from a developer in a prominent position within the gaming industry and within gameplay development speaks volumes within itself. And I think a lot of us gamers, a lot of us players should take heed because he's witnessing this firsthand and is like it's taking away his love for being a creator, being an innovator, things like using your imagination because of the restrictions within the gaming industry. And we're going to talk about all of that. Let me get to the live chat so that way we don't, let me get to the chat so that way we don't fail to acknowledge all the people who have made it here. Salute to y'all. Mario O'Neill. I did say what up to Blake, Trash, and YG. Geo in the building. Hoax, what up, Hoax? Not Vix was goody. Chris Delafield in the building. Trash said, what's popping, my G? TS Cuz, how do I go 8 from 9 from deep? Then the next game, 1 from 6. We're gonna talk about all of that. Cole was goody. Jesse Browning, Underboss in the building. Coach all day. What it is? Big boy IQ is me city. Oh, that's you, Hoax. All right, salute to you, Hoax. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Man, shout out to you, man, because it was dope. It helped me lead the way for content today. And what I want to do, in case you guys don't know, uh, I'm going to use this live stream. Hopefully, we can get some good content out of this live stream, cover some good topics, and I'm going to chop this live stream down and upload a video. So, your comments are definitely appreciated. If you help develop a topic here, then it may make it onto the video. Glocks, what it is. Javon, what's good? Stephen Jones, Double R in the building. John Omerta. STT podcast. Yes, yes. We need useful news. And he covers the topic. Let me ask you guys something, because I've been going through this myself. And we're gonna get to this. We're gonna get to I appreciate you too, Nibs. What up, Rudolph? We're gonna get to this video and discuss it further. Uh, but he covers this idea of video game reviewers not giving proper feedback. So I've been testing out a bunch of new games, and I've been going through a ton of different reviewers online because it's something that I may want to direct my second channel behind. So what I do when I consider a channel like a YouTube channel, creating a YouTube channel, like All City 2, if you guys type in exclamation point and the number 2, my second channel will come up. And I want that to be variety gaming, me experiencing different games and also sharing my thoughts and reviews on it. But what I've noticed from outside reviewers during this process of me trying to research and get more information on games that I haven't experienced yet, I take the word from an outside reviewer and then go play the game, and the game seems lackluster. And this has happened multiple times already. Like, so, I'm thinking like, damn, as a player, this just bringing it down to ground level, y'all. As a player, I've been thinking like, yo, they lying to me, bro. And it's universal. Like, I'm going from one creator to another creator, and I'm like, yo, ain't no way they felt like this about this game. Like, these games don't even make it past a day before getting deleted off my system. So I'm like, how is that possible that I go to, and I'm even out there trying to find new creators to find honest opinions about games. This gaming developer covers this in this video that we're about to go over. Appreciate you, Truly Goated. What up? What up? Appreciate y'all sharing the link as well. Daros Charwin said, Yo, City, I don't catch many live streams, but shout out you for all your extensive coverage on the new TOS. They're predatory for a company already giving us ish. They need to hear it. And it's facts. I appreciate you sharing that comment. Thanks for making it to one of the live streams. Who was that again? That was Daros Charwin. What up, AF Dread? What's good, man? EQ in the building. Say whether he was on Chiefs or Niners. I didn't say. I haven't kept up with sports in quite a while. We all have to boycott this game for 3 months. Bet that changes everything. And in this video, he talks about that as well. Ghost, what up, man? Sulin, Rock, Rashu, what up? Let's do this, man. This is what we're gonna do. Like I said, a huge portion of this live stream is gonna be chopped up and uploaded into a video. So we're gonna jump right into it, and we're gonna break it down in detail, what this live stream is about and what this game developer voted one of the best game creators of all time by IGN, a gaming developer who's been in the industry for a long time, Timothy Kane. We finna get right
I
into
consider
it.
this channel a place for learning about game development topics and discussing them. And some topics include problems. I'm starting to see.
When's the last time you heard that from a developer? Like, hey, listen, we're gonna talk about game development, but some of those things, they're problems. And I think for us as gamers, we're like, yeah, we're on the receiving end. The difference between us and the creators is that we're dishing out our bread. That's the huge difference there. And ironically, he discusses in this video, Timothy Kane discusses in this video, saying that the developers are completely aware that we're paying this money, but because we're paying more money for gaming or any particular game, it leads to more caution on their end, which then in turn leads to like a lack of innovation. There's a lack of passion, and there's a lack of developers wanting to take that risk to create something amazing, which I personally thought gaming was always going to have passionate developers that want to creatively express their artistry. You get what I mean to say? That's how I always felt. I'm an artist. I've always been an artist since young. So I've always felt like ain't no way, because artists, we're like unique type of people where we could care less. A good majority of us could care less about the financial gains behind our artistry. It's really about doing something you truly love doing. So let's get it. What up, Peggy Thornton? Just getting up in Vegas, but love and pray. Blessings. Appreciate you, Peggy. Appreciate that. Appreciate the good vibes. So let's get to it because I don't want to procrastinate here. I just got to
in the industry. I shouldn't say starting. In the last decade, the last quarter of my career, I'm starting to see this rise of what I can only call development caution, an abundance of caution, of padding estimates, time estimates. Caution can be a really good thing.
I just want to mention this because I don't like these little things to slip by. Let's rewind it just a little bit. He said padding time estimates. Now, whenever we come up with ideas, like, and what I want to do is relate what he's saying about his place in the gaming industry as one of the best creators of all time, voted by IGN, what he's seeing from his perspective as a developer and how that relates to what we see as a consumer within the gaming industry. A lot of the ideas that 2K players come up with in hopes to develop a better experience playing 2K going forward, the responses that we get from the development team, and I've heard this from Uncle Demi, I've heard this from other folks, saying that their ideas are kind of put to the back burner and ignorant to even present because development takes so much time. Although I don't have it in this video, this main developer actually describes a scenario in which he was working with another developer and he told him, can we add, it had something to do with the combat system. And he asked the guy, because he's a developer himself, and he asked the guy, can we get this done within the combat system? Because he knew, Timothy Kane knew, that it's a process that'll take probably 45 minutes. The developer that he tried to give this task to gave him a time frame of 4 weeks. Why are things lost in translation? And I think a lot of us 2K players experience that quite often, where we know it's something that could be implemented, maybe because we've seen it in previous versions of 2K and we just want to reincorporate it into the game. But he describes a scenario where he's working with another developer and the developer is telling him 4 weeks time for something that takes 45 minutes to get done. They ended up negotiating a 2-week time frame to get this process done within the combat system. But we're gonna let this thing keep going.
Development caution.
There's no more echo, right? It should be good now, right?
Of padding estimates, time estimates. Caution
Is there still
can be
an
a
echo?
really good thing if it leads to less bugs, less stress. Also,
let me make sure there's no echo. There's no, ever since, are you guys still hearing an echo? Because I'm looking at the audio right now. I'm going to let it play off and you guys let me know if you hear
the
an
fact
echo.
that because games cost more now, the thing that worries me though is games can also be a lot worse.
Not good? All right. Still echoing, so I think I got it.
Which in many games I think give them less charm.
Should be good now, right?
Things have changed. Games have gone.
I appreciate
from
you guys
being
letting me know, by the
an
way.
expression of an idea, of like artwork.
Nah, let me
from
know
a
now.
particular person or group of people into a corporate-driven, money-seeking instrument. And I get it. There's a lot of money going into these.
How is it now? There's
Designs
no
are being
echo now,
driven
right?
by this. That's why we have microtransactions. It's why we have
There shouldn't be any
pre-orders.
echo. I
Now,
only
you
have
can't
one
always blame the publishers or the
Hold on.
developers for this. If people didn't pay for it, they wouldn't do it. Is dampening down the ideas. It's why I want to double down on this.
Yeah, 'cause
I've
I'm
always
looking at
thought
the
the indie
audio right
space is
now.
a lot
Thank you,
richer in
thank you.
ideas, but they're much richer
All
in
right,
ideas.
so let's
because
rewind this. Let's rewind this and get back to it. Sorry about that,
games
y'all.
cost more now. The thing that
Took out right stick shooting. It's good. Thanks, yeah. Thanks, yeah. So let's get to it, man. Let's get to it because I think there's a really important video. I just, I wanted that portion for the beginning of my video, but unfortunately, let's start it back up because if I intend to chop this up and upload it into a video, we'll start it from scratch.
this channel a place for learning about game development topics and discussing them. And some topics include problems. I'm starting to see in the industry, I shouldn't say starting, in the last decade, the last quarter of my career, I'm starting to see this rise of what I can only call development caution, an abundance of caution, of padding estimates, time estimates. Caution can be a really good thing if it leads to less bugs, less stress. Also, I get the fact that because games cost more now, the thing that worries me though is games can also be a lot worse because of caution. You're also taking a lot less risk in a game, which in many
Let me ask you guys something. Do you feel like 2K has limited the amount of risk that they take on year in and year out? Have they gotten too comfortable? And this is why this video resonated with me, because I felt like that for years already. There was a time when I used to play 2K I felt like during the iteration we were playing 2K, we couldn't even imagine what the next 2K had in store for us. There was a time where I truly felt like that. Like I felt like the company that I was playing for was their every intention was to lead the pack in innovation, not sales, innovation. That's what led me to feel like this sense of connection with 2K, because me personally, I consider myself an artist, a creator. And I'm not saying that based off YouTube, that's just my background. So I was thinking that, no artist would allow money to influence, the development of their artistry. That's my ignorance. I guess you could consider me naive, because when you're talking those type of 2K bucks, it may influence anybody to change their ways and prioritize money over creativity. But for some strange reason, for years playing 2K, I felt like ain't no way. 2K is always going to be innovative. But over the last, say, something like 5 years, not so much, man. It doesn't seem like they're leading the pack any longer in terms of innovation. And a lot of you guys may disagree because they generate a city, but I'm like, okay, the old 2K would have generated a city, but made sure every inch of that city was useful. Like we are using every inch of that city. Otherwise, it wouldn't go into development. Unfortunately, that's not the case. As we see, we have an empty city, nothing happening from point A to point B. And that doesn't seem like the old 2K development team to me. That seems like a more new age or new wave of developers who are coming onto the scene, prioritizing money-making schemes behind microtransactions to develop the game. It's intrusive and is affecting gameplay development and is affecting my experience as a gamer. So we're going to let this thing go on. That was good. We're going to chop that up. We're going to put that in there. Keep in mind, I am, with everything that I'm saying here, I have in mind that I'm going to chop it up and upload it into a video. So let's let this thing keep going, because he addresses a lot of this stuff. And I'll get to the chat. Instead of Double R said, definitely. Instead of innovation, 2K is cautious now. Don't want to upset the money train. Long Beach Joe, what up, man? Said, yes, they've gotten way too comfortable. There's no innovation, and they feel like they don't have to be creative at all because the consumer will just continue to buy and eat microtransactions. All right, so let's keep this thing going. The city sucks and should be its own separate game. They lead the pack because there's no anymore. We have to choose but to accept what they give. All right, so we're going to keep this thing going and hear what he has to say, because he is going to cover
many games, I think, give them less charm, but things.
I want to rewind it just slightly.
The fact that because games cost more now, the thing that worries me though is games can also be a lot worse because of caution. You're also taking a lot less risk in a game, which in many games I think give them less charm, but things have changed. Games have gone from being an expression of an idea, of like artwork from a particular person or group of people, into a corporate driven money seeking instrument. And I get it. There's a lot of money going into these. Designs are being driven by this. That's why we have microtransactions. It's why we have pre-orders. Now you can't.
Nah, he can't get away with that. First of all, salute to Timothy Kane for airing this out from a developer's perspective. And he's not just a regular old developer, a no-name developer. This guy, Timothy Kane, has been voted Gaming Creator of the Year by IGN. He was the lead programmer in Fallout, and he also worked on Outer Worlds. So hearing this come from this gameplay developer, It's something different about it, because this is something that I feel and I have been expressing on this channel as a consumer. I feel it. And I want to let this continue on because he actually admits to knowing that we see this stuff. So gamers like myself, who are maybe veterans within the gaming industry, veterans of a particular franchise, we know when a game becomes mundane and repetitive, redundant experiences. We sense this. We sense the lack of passion, and we're gonna let him
Always
continue
can't
on.
blame the publishers or the developers for this. If people didn't pay for it, they wouldn't do it.
Do y'all hear that? If you didn't pay for those microtransactions, developers wouldn't do it. Keep that in mind. I understand microtransactions allow for a certain level of convenience during your gameplay, but keep in mind how it influences developers to incorporate this whole system into their gameplay designs. I need you guys to keep that in mind. We're going to keep this thing going.
Damping down the ideas. It's why I want to double down on this. I've always thought the indie space is a lot richer in ideas, but they're much richer in ideas because they have less caution and take a lot more risk. And unfortunately, what I see then is AAAs that dip into indie games for features and ideas. By the way, it's not just publishers and developers that I see all this caution with. I've seen a huge rise in caution in game journalism. It's become the norm. No journalist wants to risk getting into an embargo situation where they're not given an early access code, so they can't write their reviews earlier than other people. They're worried about not being invited to press events. So a lot of them have gone a lot more cautious in what they say. And they're really just trying to go for what kind of review can I write that generates the most clicks?
I got to tell you, as a gamer, it's frustrating. You want honest feedback from people you think that are just like you. But unfortunately, there's so much money to be made on YouTube. So what ends up happening, creators who offer game journalism, reviews, and things like that end up operating very similar to these gameplay developers. Some of the games in recent years that we have seen, lackluster and empty inside. And what ends up happening is I end up spending $60 to $70 as a player just watching YouTube videos, trying to get honest feedback from gaming journalists, people who offer reviews and stuff like this. And I feel like they have failed me, point blank, period. I go out there, I've been on the search for new games. I tried a ton of new games, spending my money, trying to find a different experience. And these games haven't even lasted. The games that are rated so high, the games that are reviewed so well, haven't lasted 24 hours on my system. So there's an argument within the gaming industry from other gamers out there that say, well, you got to play at least 20 to 25 hours. Some games even say you got to play 50 hours or more. Imagine for a second that it's no longer the developer's job to pique my interest in their project. That 50 hours later is when I'm supposed to start enjoying myself. Impossible. There's no way that gameplay development is made in this way. It actually is done in this way. They're expecting the gamers to continue on playing a game that's unenjoyable until they're 50 hours in, and then start seeing the gameplay development or innovation evolve or roll out right in front of you. And I'm like, no way, Coachy, something's wrong about this. Ain't no way that I'm supposed to invest that much of my time to figure out if the developer actually respects my time. Impossible. And it's no going down no more, man. It's not our job, it's not our responsibility to find interest or seek out interest in a product that we're paying $60 to $70 for. If it was $10, if it was $5, maybe I'd understand. But we're talking about $50, $60, $70. No, man. Your job is to entertain me, maintain your responsibility, and I'll maintain my responsibility as a consumer to enjoy your product. Just is what it is. I'm going to keep this thing going.
I guess this worries me because if I see this everywhere,
Exactly.
if I see this in
Full-time
publishers
job.
and developers and now new people entering the industry, they don't have this passion anymore. I want to tell people, just go and make it. Make what you want. You can always go back and change it. Or if you make something and it turns out not to be good at all and unsalvageable, throw it away. To get to some really good idea is a lot better than just being so cautious that you basically creep up to a very mundane game that doesn't show any kind of passion in its development.
Woo! Is that 2K or not? Is it 2K or not? Holla at me, man. I think all of us, man, it makes my hair stand up because I used to feel that passion. I ain't lying to y'all, man. I've been playing 2K since the very first iteration ever released on Dreamcast, and we used to see and feel that passion coming from the development team. There was something about the energy when you pop that game into your system, where it was like, wow, they're like so far ahead of the competition, so far ahead of anything we've seen out there. Now seems like they're walking side by side with everything else that we're seeing. How does a company get so cautious with the development to the point that it becomes mundane? And you could sense as a player that the development team is lacking passion. Now, where is the root? What is the root cause behind that lack of passion? I imagine is big business coming in and infiltrating, intrusively infiltrating. um the business side into gameplay development. And I think that's what we're seeing here. And I think that would happen to me. I could picture myself in a development company had I went to school, because I've taken up I was when I was younger, it was about graffiti. That led to graphic design, that then led to uh photography, and all of these things under my belt ended up helping me become a better content creator. And what I'm saying here, if I had someone in my ear during my content creation, and if you guys have any understanding of like a creative mind, when you're in that creative state, you don't want nobody even influencing you. You watch, like, you become the gatekeeper to your mind. And hear me out here, maybe some of you guys could resonate. You become the gatekeeper to what you allow in your mind. And you picture that. You picture yourself standing at a gate and saying, is this suitable enough to allow into my mind? Because it may tarnish a certain level of creativity that I have. So with that in mind, I say I can't imagine being a creator for one of these development companies and then having somebody who lacks creativity. Like, they're not an artist, they don't consider themselves artists, but big business marketing, the marketing department comes to me and says, hey homie, whatever you got to do, be creative, but make sure you put this in there. That's like throwing a whole wrench in all my plans as a creator. I'm being dead serious with y'all. That's like, I'd rather throw everything, I'd rather walk out. I'd rather just throw everything, all my ideas on the table and walk out before I allow somebody to mess with my creativity. It's just how we are. We're stubborn in that way. Creators are stubborn in that way. Although we can hear feedback, is not going down for this project. This project is going to be created with what I already have in my mind, because we invest damn near every ounce of our being into our creative imagination. And we know that the other people who are talking about dollars, they have no investment in this outside of generating dollars. And that's okay. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Not everybody is meant to be a creative, but I just mean to say these two things are inevitably going to crash. They're just going to clash with each other, and they're going to crash out. And what ends up happening is the consumer, us, the gamers, we end up suffering because of it.
People can tell. People can tell. Let's talk about a non-game example. Maybe if I illustrated this with a non-game example, it would make more sense. Let's say there was an intersection near your house, two streets intersected, and there were always accidents there. Cars are always running into each other there. A reasonable person might go, okay, are there trees or hedges or other things blocking view there? Maybe we need stop signs or a stoplight, or maybe we need to replace it with a roundabout. Those are reasonable discussions to the problem I just mentioned. People asking questions about what could be the cause of this, and here's some possible solution. How I see people talk about it is, oh my goodness, they should ticket everybody who has an accident there, and if you have more than one accident, you just get your license removed. That'll fix it. Or they say, why don't we just reduce the speed on those roads and all the nearby roads to like 10 miles per hour? Then there probably won't be accidents because people can stop in time. And even if there are, no one will get hurt. Or they go, there's accidents there and people are getting hurt a lot. We should build a hospital right on the corner. So then when people get hurt, we can take them right into that hospital. All those suggestions, people think they're being reasonable and intelligent. And I'm going to fix this problem of accidents at this intersection. But they're looking at the wrong thing. They're either punishing the people for having the accidents or making it so that the accidents still happen, but the side effects aren't as bad, either in damage, or the accidents happen just as badly, but you've got something there to fix the people.
I think it's really important because there's a couple things that come right to mind. One, the shooting. When we relate what he had just, what Timothy Kane just mentioned about developers, instead of getting to the root of the problem and fixing it, they rather beat around the bush and try to present solutions to symptoms instead of getting to the root cause of the problem so you no longer have these symptoms. Doesn't that make sense? Wouldn't you want to, as a developer, remove the root cause of the core issue on a problem instead of just generating uh, mechanics that rectify the symptoms? In other words, if these symptoms still exist, I'll give you guys a perfect example. It seems like that's what 2K is doing. It seems like they're just covering up so that the symptoms don't show. So what ends up happening is on release, we end up getting this amazing experience for both 23 and 24. This absolutely amazing experience. Everybody is super hyped about the gameplay. But then what happens? When 2K drops that first patch. Now, a lot of people might think patches are overlaying over like the game. See, my idea from what I've experienced over the years with patches is that they're actually removing layers to present what's underneath. And the reason why I feel that way is because we keep getting these repetitive issues with 2K year in, year out, the same issues. So it's obviously not a layer over that they're fixing. It seems to be after a patch, the game gets ruined, they remove that layer and present what's already there. Exactly what Timothy Kane is describing.
It breaks my programmer brain that people think those are suggestions, reasonable suggestions to, there's an intersection with a lot of accidents. They're not thinking about what's causing it. They're looking at the symptoms and going, I can get rid of those symptoms. Trivial. People have basically suggested things of, rather than fixing the problem, they're making the problem not visible anymore. So in a sense, I kind of want the issues discussed, know what the issues are and agree what the issues are, and then try to fix them. What I'm hoping is that people will focus more on treating the causes of those problems and a lot less on just ameliorating the symptoms of those problems. As I said in another video about, hey, we've all got to agree that there is a problem and what's the cause of the problem and then the solution of the problem. I still see game development caution as being a problem. I don't see it being solved with some of the solutions people are saying. In fact, most of those ignore the cause and are just going after symptoms. I think in the future, I consider this channel a place for learning about.
I thought that was amazing. Let's get to the chat, man, because whoo, man, was that some good stuff. I love when the community is here to kind of take heed and listen in. And by the way, if you're new here, please consider subscribing because we have a huge goal to reach 100K subscribers, and I want to make that happen ASAP. So if you find this stuff interesting, you want some more of it, definitely consider subscribing to the channel and follow us on X. You guys see the name right underneath at the bottom here. Let me see here, right here. Yeah. So, you know, again, that's what I see with 2K. I see 2K covering a bunch of stuff up. And again, that's why on release, these games are amazing, or at least they feel amazing. But then the community complains and 2K doesn't know which way to go. Why? Because it's not a passion project. Exactly what Timothy Kane was expressing, because creatives are stubborn. Creative minds are stubborn as hell. I don't care who you are. If you consider yourself an artist, you're going to be stubborn when you're creating your art. When you're in the process of your artistry, you're going to be stubborn because it's already done upstairs. Like everything is complete upstairs. All you're doing is executing. Because there's a lack of that passion from 2K, this is why they're influenced by the comments they receive on their game. And that influence then in turn leads to a patch. If they were confident, that means they would have given their all. If they were passionate about their artistry, passionate about their creativity, they would have given their all to that product, to that project. And then when it comes to someone leaving a comment, it'd be easily resolved because you see, while you're in your passion, during the creative process, you're covering all these aspects. That's how creative minds work. We cover all aspects, cover any issues. That's part of the creative process. It's all done upstairs. You're just trying to execute it. Because of the lack of passion, maybe 2K is just too big for his bridges. Maybe these teams of developers and engineers are too far separated, that they can't feed off of each other. One aspect that's supposed to connect, these two dots, maybe that link is kinked, and folks, they naturally, when big business infiltrates onto creativity, naturally there's going to be a lack of innovation. Naturally, there's going to be a lack of gameplay development because they're messing with your artistry. And I think when we get to the root of the problem, and let creators be creators, we'll get some of those old 2K nostalgic experiences back. Make every stat matter. All right, let's get to it, man. Let's get to the chat. I love it. I love the dialogue we're creating here. I know I'm talking a lot. I enjoy this stuff. I'm passionate about it. And that, watching that video today and create, because there's a lot more to those videos, by the way. You guys can look him up. His name is Timothy Kane on YouTube. He was the lead developer and designer for the game Fallout, and he also worked on Outer Worlds. Timothy Kane was also voted by IGN as one of the top 100 game creators of all time. So we're not hearing from somebody who, his words mean something. And this is what he's experienced from his perspective on his end as a gameplay developer and what he sees amongst his colleagues. There's a lack of passion there, and he's there trying to reinvigorate that passion, but unfortunately, it's not working. He sees too many people trying to. I love the term that he used when he said they're padding time, because a lot of the issues, like I mentioned earlier, which I'll reiterate, a lot of the issues that the 2K players have with the 2K development team is that we come up with these ideas, whether we've seen them in previous versions of 2K or not, but we come up with these ideas to incorporate into 2K to help create a better experience for all 2K players. And what 2K's response is, and this, I'm referencing this issue that happened in the beginning of 2K24, maybe a little prior, where Uncle Demi said, "We just don't know." Because the developers, whenever presented with a new idea, the developers' response is, "That can't get done." Or, "We just unaware of how much time it actually takes to get done." Well, this lead developer, Timothy Kane, just exposed that whole thing and exposed how padding time is commonplace amongst developers. He exposed it completely. And again, there's not no little developer without any influence. This is a gigantic developer, voted one of the best creators, one of the best gaming creators of all time by IGN. And he gave this situation, the scenario that actually took place, where he knew a particular topic within his game that he wanted addressed was some to do with the combat system. And he knew if we applied just 10 lines of coding to this combat system, the issue could get resolved. There's what he was thinking. And when he timed it out, he said, just like if you went to school for this stuff, you would know how long it takes to generate 10 lines of coding. You would know that ASAP. So he told the developer, "Hey, can we add these 10 lines of coding because we want this issue within the combat system resolved?" The developer ended up responding back to him saying that it'll take him 4 weeks to get it done. In his mind, he said, "Hold on a second. I'm a coder just like you. I'm a gaming developer. What the hell you mean 4 weeks? This takes 45 minutes to get done." They ended up negotiating a time frame. They cut it by 2 weeks. Something that would normally take 45 minutes from this lead developer's experience, something that takes 45 minutes, he was told will take 4 weeks. And the fair compromise was 2 weeks. How is that even a compromise? Something that takes 45 minutes is then going to in turn take 2 weeks. How is that a fair compromise? How is that fair to us as the gamers here? They're padding the times, making them take longer, milking the clock is basically what it's looking like. But we're going to get to it. We're going to get to, yeah, I know I'm talking a lot here. They need more thresholds. There's no way a big with a 25 ball handle can dribble up the court without consequence. That's big facts, man. Them balls should get ripped ASAP, pause. And we tried to cut all the risk. Yeah, hold on. What the homie said? The community has tried to help 2K better. Yeah, sure did. Has anyone? No, that's something else. 2K should be like when you first started having X. It's stressful now. Make the difference between 99 strength and 98 strength significant. Reward players for being specialists. Now, again, we all have ideas. We all have the ideas. The problem is, like he had mentioned, is that big business is infiltrating gameplay development. And I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get back to it. We're going to go back into it so you can see these initial, in case you guys just joined, you can see the initial portion of this video.
I consider this channel a place for learning about game development topics and discussing them. And some topics include problems. I'm starting to see in the industry, I shouldn't say starting, in the last decade, the last quarter of my career, I'm starting to see this rise of what I can only call development caution, an abundance of caution, of padding estimates, time estimates. Caution can be a really good thing if it leads to less bugs, less stress. Also, I get the fact that because games cost more now, the thing that worries me though is games can also be a lot worse because of caution. You're also taking a lot less risk in a game, which in many games I think give them less charm. But things have changed. Games have gone from being an expression of an idea, of like artwork from a particular person or group of people, into a corporate-driven, money-seeking instrument. And I get it. There's a lot of money going into these. Designs are being driven by this.
Ooh, that just something about that statement, because if you guys been following me, and this is not to pat myself on the back. This is more so because this is my own personal belief. So I share a lot of thoughts with you guys because we're connected here on the live stream, man. I'd like to be transparent about what I'm feeling about my gaming experience. So I share this with y'all, saying that it feels empty. There's a lack of passion there. I've been seeing this for a long time already, saying that money is changing things within gameplay, and that money, this is one of the biggest arguments that I've been saying about 2K. Money has infiltrated gameplay development. And I'm not saying that from an outside looking in. I'm more so saying that when I say money has infiltrated gameplay development, is what I'm getting at is put yourself in that scenario, y'all. You are the creator. You are the artist. You have your vision in your mind. Now you need to execute. You went to school in order to learn how to execute that vision, right? Hear me out here. So when you go to execute the vision that you already have in your mind as a creator, you end up finding out that somebody from a different team who has no involvement with the creation on this project comes to you and says, hold on, make sure you add this in there. Make sure you find a way to persuade the gamer to generate a microtransaction. There's studies on this stuff, yeah. This just doesn't happen. It's just not like some random guy comes and says, yeah, add this in there so they have an opportunity to buy them. No, there's a process. So when I say that it's infiltrating gameplay development, they have to say, when the marketing dude comes and says, well, put this in there, they have to find a seamless way so it doesn't seem intrusive to the gamer like myself. It's not just a pop-up on your screen saying, hey, buy this here. You get what I mean to say? In gameplay. So imagine as an artist, you already have this in your mind, and then somebody comes and throws a wrench in all your plans, and now, because they don't understand gameplay development, now you got to find a way to incorporate this into your artistry. You have to like weave it in there, because it can't just be placed. It's not like a drag and drop. You have to weave it into your artistry. How that will corrupt anybody's imagination. That will corrupt anybody's creativity. And then in turn, you would have resentment for what you're doing, because this is not what you set out to do as a creative. You would then in turn have resentment. The only alleviation from that is the fun, like the funds that you get. I don't know if you guys know this, but it's been said, and it's well known, that these 2K devs work tremendous amounts of hours. So you put into this equation a lack of sleep, overworked. Add all of that into this equation. Now, from the consumer, think of the product you finna receive on our end. Like what product we finna get on our end? We finna get 2K21, 22, 23, and 24. It makes perfect sense. It's something, I don't want to be arrogant here, but it just makes perfect sense because I developed these ideas personally solely from my experience buying 2K solely from my experience playing these AAA titles that seem empty inside. That's my thoughts about it. Add more animations, thresholds, give perks for certain animations like Shaq's layup. That's some of the. Take-Two is a company that holds the key to 2K and GTA. Not heard. Now here's the thing, y'all, because this comes off the heels of us finally getting a W as a 2K community and speaking with our wallets and limiting the amount of microtransactions that we actually generate on 2K, leading to a 7% decline in recurrent consumer spending. Huge W. That's exactly what we wanted. That's exactly what Take-Two needed to have. They needed to experience that. We're not falling, or at least more people are waking up, not falling for the same lame game designs. The homie says it. Timothy Kane says it. Hey, we can feel it. They're going to sense it. His exact words. They're going to sense it. When there's a lack of passion in the project, we're going to sense it. The difference is we're sensing it. We're like more hyper vigilant now. We can sense things way sooner because we consider the dollar amount that we're putting onto this game. So we sense that lack of passion even sooner because we want that project that we're investing our time into to meet the dollar value that we spent on it. And when it doesn't even meet the dollar value, you're like, hold on. So you start digging deep. This is what happened with me. I could only speak. I don't know if you guys are experiencing the same thing, but this is what happened with me. Gaming started getting way too expensive that now I was like looking at these games like, hold on, let me find out this developer respects my time. When I purchase a new game, that's one of the first things that I look at. During the initial stages on any new game, let me see how this developer respects my time. During the first hour or so of a video game, you could find out what's the developer's intention. Is their intention to get you to spend more money on this game? Is their intention to turn you into explorer? They lead you in a way. And for me, like when I get these games, I say, well, I'll play this game with you. This is what I'm thinking in my head. All right, let's see where you're taking me, developer. I played games from a different perspective than some of you guys. And I try and see from the developer's eyes what he got me into here. I'll give you guys a perfect instance. One of my favorite games of all time is Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and then Tears of the Kingdom, where I feel like the developer is consistently respecting your time. If you want to go exploring, if you see something in the distance and you want to go exploring, trust me, along the way, you're going to find 100 other things to capture your attention. And if you guys don't know, that's a process of gameplay development where I think it's like 7, I could be mistaken, but it's something like developers make it so that every 7 seconds you're seeing something. I forgot the name of this process. I saw some stuff, I did some research on it. But wherever you are in an open world map, every 7 seconds, something is going to happen to capture your attention, whether that's birds flying by, a new bead, something off in the distance moving, the change of seasons, the change from night to day. Something is happening. You're finding, treasures or whatnot. Something happens every 7 seconds. Relate that concept of development to your experience on 2K. And see how long-suffering we are as a 2K community. How long do we have to wait before we actually get something in return for our time? Think about that, yeah? I doubt the 2K developers are overworked. I thought current generation couldn't handle new gen specs. It's all marketing, just money. Well, I think when the homie said, I doubt that the 2K development team is underworked. I think we have a misconception, and you could be right, by the way. But what I think is that a lot of us have a misconception of what happens with, like development companies. These guys are not leading the way, especially when you get as big as 2K. They're not like lead creators. It's more like a job. I think that's what a lot of us fail to realize. It's not like you getting with your friends. When you're dealing with 2K development, it's not like you're getting with your friends and saying, hey, let's come up with this idea, and everybody's excited and, brainstorming, bouncing ideas off of each other. Negative, coachy. I highly doubt that that's what happens in 2K. What I think happens in 2K is that some like a whiteboard. This needs to get done. We got this bug, and boom, you handle that, and there goes your day. It's passionless, and it translates in the gameplay development. It translates in my experience getting on the game. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's what's happening at 2K. You got a bunch of people just working. There's no creativity anymore. There's something that just killed all the passion. And I think it happens to a lot of AAA titles out there. Thanks. That was really good. Explains a lot. Another example of how greed and monopolies ruin everything. Facts. Double R. You said respect. This is what they respect. Yeah, and I I don't blame them for respecting money. I don't blame them. But it's something that it's something that I take personal, is what I meant to say. Because it's almost like I feel like there's a side of me that feels like the best way to phrase this is that they're bullying our creativity. That's the best way to suppressing our creativity, suppressing our artistry. And, like I grew up in New York City and I started doing graffiti and fell in love with graffiti. And there was nothing, part of that expression is being free to express yourself. Part of the graffiti background is being free to express yourself. So wherever I was, I'm expressing myself. Boom, boom. And that's what I would do. I'd bomb something. That may be something different to y'all. Like, I'm not talking about current bomb. I'm talking about tagging up. And I'd show off my expression of artistry. I can't imagine someone trying to suppress that. Again, dollar figures, maybe dollars make more sense to a lot of people, but there's something about the creative mind that's so stubborn, even to dollars. Even like, you know how some people won't sacrifice their soul to get into a business? Well, that's the idea behind creative minds. It's like, you don't suppress that for nothing in the world. It's too important to express yourself creatively. Absolutely no defense system at all. Think about how you steal the ball on 2K. Scam. The worst thing is, whenever you boot up 2K and play it, it feels like you have to spend money. That is the downfall. And that's exactly what he expresses in this video. That's exactly to a T what he's expressing in this video. They just want you to get on the game and spend that money. The system has gotten so aggressive to the point, we recently found out that, in case you guys are new here and you haven't learned about this, we recently found out that 76% of 2K's revenue, of Take-Two's revenue, comes from microtransactions. 76, y'all hearing that? 76% of their revenue comes from microtransactions. That means 25% only comes from selling that base game. So it's in 2K's best interest to just get you at the game at whatever cost. They might try you out and they test us as guinea pigs to see if we'll pay the $70. But all we have to do is wait a few months. We could get the game for free, guaranteed. It's going to be free, or like it is now, $20. Why? Because 2K knows that their main money comes from you after you purchase the game, not from you buying the game in the first place. They're not worried about that. You're only starting your problems. Your problems only start when you as soon as you buy that game and then get on. That's when you got to worry about your pockets. And again, like Timothy Kane had mentioned, this is by design, yeah. This is all set up by design. Like he also mentioned, if you guys didn't make those microtransactions, they wouldn't put it in the game. Again, there's not some random gameplay developer. There's one of the best gaming creators of all time, voted by IGN. There's one of the lead programmers for the game Fallout and Outer Worlds. And there's his experience that he has had within the gaming industry. And his experience with his colleagues made him realize that a lot of developers and development teams just lack passion. And part of that reason is because money and business has gotten into gameplay development. And now it's part of the design of gameplay development. Huge stuff, man. Remember when get your tax money, don't put none on 2K for real. I shouldn't have to spend an additional $100 just to be able to use my player I created and use him in Park, even if I do 100. for a game that only lasts a year. Facts. Are we forgetting that? I think a lot of us have become accustomed to just naturally giving out our money, and we're forgetting that, hey, we're about to do the same thing come next year. You're about to do the same thing over again come next year. When did you think it would, if let's say the game was about creativity. Let's say the game was about artistry. Let's say the game was about immersion. Wouldn't you think that you keep your same player from every iteration to iteration, so this way you could develop a closer tie with your my player? Wouldn't it serve in 2K's best interest to immerse the player base in the game, where they, year after year, they're able to they could create new players. They have that opportunity, but you could see your player evolve through the years, not just within one annual cycle. But of course, 2K would have to sacrifice so much money on those folks who make builds every single year. They don't think for a second, like the homie said when he said about the crossroads, and they have this intersection where developers, there's cars constantly crashing, and the answer from developers is something like, well, let's build a hospital. They're not trying to get to the root, or let's build a roundabout. They're not trying to get to the root to eliminate the symptoms that are there. They're just trying to cover them up. Build a hospital, that means, yeah, the car crashes are still going to happen. You're not going to prevent the car crashes from happening. Just build a hospital and put a layer over it. This is why when we see patches, it's layers being pulled off and we see what's underneath. The same issues that we've had for years playing 2K. 2K is lackluster and it needs to improve. What up, keep it 100? VC should transfer as well. Facts. I wonder if Strauss be watching your videos, boiling up his fist. Hell yeah, Strauss be tight. Who is this little Spanish kid? I'll slap you in the face. You call me a kid again. I swear to God, I tell Strauss that. I don't play. Every man is the same, man. I'm not thugged out or nothing like that. But if Strauss ever try to disrespect me, you just turn into another man in front of me. I just mean to say, you know, if he did feel some sort of way, I say, homie, I understand big business. If Strauss did feel some sort of way, ball up his fist, homie, you make your money, bro. Like, you make your money. I'm solely just asking for my entertainment time to be respected. Respect my time. Make your money, but respect my time. So in other words, instead of 2K trying to add or try to cover up the symptoms that are taking place, how about we, you know, pull out our tools and get to the bottom of what's going on so these issues are no longer presented to the 2K community. That'll show a respect for my time. In previous versions of 2K, I felt like they respected my time because the game would keep me intrigued for the entire annual cycle. But as gaming has evolved, I think 2K should find new ways to immerse the player base. And part of those new ways are coming up with innovative ideas that aren't so intrusive. Innovative ideas to accommodate your concerns as a CEO of Take-Two, Strauss Zelnick. Accommodate your ideas, but don't do it at my expense is the issue. That's the main issue here. And hopefully this resonates with a lot of you guys because I feel like that's what they're doing. They create half-baked products and expect us to pay full price. And that's an issue for me. We can sense that there's a lack of passion in development. That core issue should be addressed before you deliver us that product. Because what's consistently happening is the 2K community continues to be long-suffering, hella patient, but we're hella opinionated. So we trash the game on release, but every year is the same thing. Look back as far as you want to. Go on YouTube and look back as far as you want to. For every iteration of 2K, there's going to be a thumbnail that says, this 2K is trash. Every single iteration. Go back and see even to your best ones, 2K16, 2K20. Go to your best 2Ks and type in 2K16 is trash. There goes a thumbnail. The problem has been going on for a long time already. And it's only gotten way more aggressive in recent years because of the money that they're generating. But it was inevitable that was all going to hit a brick wall. The lack of passion was definitely going to showcase, especially when the prices are increasing on a year-to-year basis. how much money we spend on the game is going to increase. So naturally, we're going to be more inclined to look at the finer details of creativity. I appreciate that, Big Heck. Yeah, man, we out here, man. Salute to y'all. We out here. How long am I? We're just about an hour in. Perfect timing, because now I'm going to take this live stream. I'm going to download it. We're going to chop it up, and we're going to upload a video for the masses. Hopefully they could, because these live streams, we don't get as many viewers as we would in an upload. So I want to get as many eyes as possible on these topics of discussion, so that, you know, people that feel very similar to me feel like there's something lacking. And it's not only 2K. I'm not only speaking about 2K. I'm talking about in general, gaming is lacking. Excuse me. Excuse me. And when we hear it, when we hear that there's passion lacking, you know, someone like me saying these devs, they just lack passion. Everybody that's watching probably let that go in one ear and right out the other. But when you hear one of the best, this is not my quote, but one of the best game creators of all time, voted by IGN, speak the same exact thing that a gamer like myself is feeling about gaming, woo-wee, that means there's a real problem there. There's him talking about his own colleagues. Why? Because he still has the same passion that intrigued players like me. He still has that. He's what did he say? I think 40 years? 40 years in gaming development? 40 years in and saying, what's going on? Because back in the day, this is how we used to operate. And then now here we are, and these developers, the dude wanted to put a whiteboard up. Hear this out, yeah. Hear this. This dude, Timothy Kane, he wanted to put a whiteboard up so that they would. This is a very this is something very similar to what I would do if I was running the office. On display, he wanted to put a whiteboard and then write down the core issues with the game and then assign it to individual engineers or developers. He said this is a process that they had years ago, and it worked flawlessly, so they could address some core issues, bugs, things like that. He ended up finding out when he, years later, he tried the same process again to eliminate some of the bugs and stuff that they had. And this new wave of developers was like, no. They said, appreciate the sub, Bobby. They said, nah, if you put that whiteboard up, we're quitting. Go ahead and walk out the door if that's how you're feeling, homie. Creators used to have a certain level of pride back then that if you even think of quitting because of a whiteboard, you're in the wrong place, bro, because this is about us expressing our artistry. This is about us bringing it to the forefront for the masses. Now, because of big business, you know, you think about it. You're in that office and you see a whiteboard. I can understand how folks might find that off-putting, how people may find that. I personally wouldn't feel that way, but I could understand how some may feel that way. But to say that I'm quitting, you're already out the door, bro. If it takes a whiteboard to make you sacrifice your career, you're already out the board. You're already out the door, bro. So might as well go ahead and get up out here. At least that's my thought process. Might as well go ahead and get up out of here, man. Pretty good stuff today, man. It was a passionate live stream. I love speaking about stuff that I'm truly interested in, and I love that you guys give me the opportunity to share my thoughts on this platform. Salute to y'all, man. We are so close to 100K. I want to make that happen, and it's topics like this that I feel passionate about, that help give the energy that I'm supposed to be giving out there. Letting you guys get a little closer to me and understanding my thoughts and everything. I'm a gamer first. I'm always for the people, and I hate the fact that big business influences gameplay design. That all got to change, yeah. On that note, yeah, I will catch you either on the next video or live stream. You have a safe and blessed rest of your evening. I might go live as early. I'm thinking about hitting the gym, and then I might go live again. We'll see what happens, but I am going to create an upload from this live stream. Y'all be easy.